Good morning, my name is Ray Darnell. I'll be presenting the fourth live stream from the Museum of Timekeeping at the British Horological Institute at Upton Hall, Newark, England. Today's topic is corrosion. Now, we've suffered with corrosion forever, from a small steel pin up to a large steel girder bridge, and we've had to cure it and prevent it. It's no different to what we have to do in the horological industry. Corrosion can be formed from atmospheric conditions: damp, heat, humidity, and we also have corrosion that is created by you. Yes, you. And this is mainly by the way you handle and treat individual items from the clock or watch. So, I have here a wheel out of motion work of the clock that has been in production for many years, and just imagine this was a new wheel that we've just been presented. So my friend Jim is here and we're going to discuss it. So I start talking about it, how it's made, what it's made out of, and so Jim says, "Can I have a look at it?" So I hand it over to him. And being a little bit short-sighted, he has to bring it nearer to his face and talks and moves it around. And this time I've got no gloves on. I've only put them on because it takes so long to do it in shot. So what have we done? We've actually totally ruined this brand new piece just by looking at it. And if I put it on this camera here, just trying to get the light right on it. That's better. Okay, so you can see here we've got spots of corrosion. Right. They are actually caused by talking over the bit. So whether you be working on a clock or a watch or whatever, if you're going to talk to one side so you're not actually talking over the individual bit. Otherwise, these masks that were available for COVID, very cheap, easy to wear, will stop any spittle going on the bit. If I turn it over, what do we see? Let me just get it in focus a bit. Oh, it's there, that's better. You can actually see around the edge here the fingerprints from the side of your finger as it's being gripped, and all the way around we've got finger marks. So they're two main causes of creating the corrosion, and it's basically down to you and your practices. Okay. If we pan over to here, or maybe go on to the next camera, camera 2. Are we on camera 2? Yeah, okay. You can see along here, there's lines of spittle corrosion, and also down here. And it's very similar to woodworm in looks. So I've nicknamed it brassworm. and like it really does affect the surface finish. Right, so we've identified where the corrosion's coming from. If we'd have known all that time ago what effect it would have, we could have saved ourselves many hours of having to refinish the components. And this clock is made out of CZ120 engraving brass, and the corrosion seems to affect this more than other types of brass. CZ108 doesn't suffer the same problem. That's a stamping quality brass. The old clock paints that were cast brass, although they do get a bit corrosion, nothing like as deep or as bad as we get on this new modern brass. So that's something to wonder how it's happening. And I think it's probably something to do with the lead content in the brass. But I'm no chemist or scientist, so if anybody out there knows why, I'd be pleased to hear. Right, so obviously we can't leave these components like this. We've got to refinish them. And because of the depth of some of the corrosion, we're going to have to use fairly aggressive refinishing. Normally these have all been through clock cleaners, different solutions, and it doesn't even touch it. So we're going to have to do some aggressive refinishing, and that means using something like a Gariflex block. But the only problem with the Gariflex block is we've got to be very careful not to round the corners and follow the grain of the brass, which is, you know, proper horological good practice. So you can see this bit here, the amount of effort it takes to get that. Can you see? It's starting to go now. But that is just one spot. So you can imagine the amount of time it's going to take. And not only that, we've got to get the surface finish consistent throughout the clock, rather than having these bright spots or dull spots. So what can I suggest? Well, firstly, wear gloves or finger cuts. Secondly, these COVID masks, there are plenty of them around. They will stop the moisture going onto the bits. You can wear them for 2 to 2.5 hours without any discomfort. So, well, yes. And there are quite a number of components on the clock, and I think every one of them has suffered the same problem. And, you know, I mean, it's been on the go for 15 years. The team has been making individual bits, coming up to Upton Hole, fitting them, talking about it, and it's the talking and handling that has basically put all this corrosion on there. So please use gloves, don't talk over them, wear a mask, and any clock will benefit from that. Okay. So I think that's just about it. And thank you very much for watching.
Exactly where to go here to find the chat. Just give me a second.
Of background on the clock. The clock is a replica of Harrison's RAS regulator. Harrison, once he got his C clock prize, decided that every port in the world should have an accurate clock so that the captains could set the chronometers at the port before they left. Harrison designed this clock to be accurate to 1 second in 100 days. And we've got a picture of the dialer here. Again, there's a lot of refinishing required on that, resilvering and getting rid of the corrosion. Oops. So anyway, he designed this clock to be accurate to 1 second in 100 days. Unfortunately, he never lived long enough to finish it. And in 1926, Richard Gould rescued all of Harrison's clocks from going in the skip at the British Museum. Because the clock wasn't actually finished, Gould actually made some components himself, and some of the original components were missing. The team of about 12 people set about the task of reproducing it, and over the years some have moved out, some have come in, and at the moment we have at Upton Hull 2 complete clocks that are ready to be refinished and put into service, and the time trials done on them. So that's the potted history of the clocks. Thank you.
Well, so far in the live chat, just a comment saying thank you very much and expressing surprise that just the moisture from our breath can cause corrosion.
Yeah, oh that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think I realised that you've shown us a good example of how it's happening.
Yeah.
A real example of what's happened.
Yeah, good. Well, that was a good comment. Get me a brandy. How long did it actually go for?
Well, the talk was a little over 10 minutes. Which
I think we're still going live, Jim.
Yeah, it's okay, but yeah. Well, it's up to Justin to switch it off.
Well,
yeah. Yeah, sorry, it took me a while to work out how to switch it off.
Still on.
Okay, no, but it is off now because there's a 20-second